Okay, so here we are, playoffs, ICP, round one. No battle last week. I'm going to talk about that before the battle itself because I have a little bit of downtime before I get into it with Seth. But I did want to go over the team real quick with you guys because this matchup was honestly really annoying for me to build for. It was super annoying for me to build for because I believe my opponent has a phenomenal team. They have 9 powerhouses and a Diglett, which realistically is still annoying for my team specifically because if they're able to like be focus sash, trap my Polytoad, and then like Earthquake into reversal me or something like that and get me super low to where I can't switch in on rocks, then that's super annoying, and then I lose my rain. So I think that all 10 of their Pokemon do have decent merit this game, which made it really difficult to prep for. But I want to give a big shout out to Team Knots TV for helping me out again. Helps me out every single week. But let's go ahead and just take a look. So Suicune, I know 100% is coming. It's probably his best rain check, if not his only rain check. Everything else dies to the combination of Liquidation plus Outrage or Hydro Pump plus Draco Meteor, depending on which set I want to go with. I'm expecting either a sub-Toxic Protect or a sub-Calm Mind Toxic Suicune because it can set up and win pretty easily versus me. So I'm having to bring some fun stuff for that. But Dragapult, I'm expecting it to be DD. You'll see that I have a pretty good amount of prep for DD. But Specs is also kind of annoying, and Scarf is also kind of annoying because Scarf can actually outspeed my rain sweepers and it can prevent me from destroying them with rain. So that's a decent rain check, but not like the greatest. Buzzwole I think has to come because of Passimian, because of Skuntank. Even in the rain, like Flamethrower, if its AV isn't doing a whole lot. Physical, like SD, Weakness Policy, whatever, Aegislash, it can do a lot to that. So I do see that coming because it can hard check a few of my Pokemon that they kind of struggle with. Savali, I could see it being a couple different things. I could see it being Savali normal for Aegislash. I could see it being Savali Fairy because they don't have a Fairy otherwise to stop Draco Meteor spam. I could even see Savali Dark because it could be a Shadow Ball switch in and also hit me for super effective damage with multi-attack, which is really annoying. And it can also get things like Iron Head, and then the rest of my team, it actually doesn't take it super well. It doesn't take Savali Dark super well aside from Passimian and Skuntank. So I could see that. Crobat I think has to come because it's probably their best defogger. I don't think Savali has a good defog capability this game. Piloswine I think could come. I think it is a decent stealth rocker this game actually because it does stop some things pretty well if it's fully Spadef with rest. It can actually take 2 Weather Balls from my Zapdos, so it's pretty important. I think if they want a good switch into Hurricane and Thunderbolt, which hits their rest of their team either for super effective or neutral damage, to have something to be immune to electric, because otherwise I could just spam Thunder and do a lot of damage. But yeah, and then Uxie, that could be another stealth rocker. Pivoting Mons, Rourke, I'm not overly scared of, but I'm somewhat scared of it because I think in order for it to be scary for me, it has to be set up, and if it's set up, then it can't be like scarfed. It can't be something along those lines, and I think that's kind of where it struggles. Cinderace, it can 2-shot a lot of things on my team if rain is not up. And then Diglett. So yeah, so let's go ahead and just take a look at the team that I'm trying to bring to counter everything. So first up, we have a pretty heat Aegislash set. So I'm max special attack with Flash Cannon and Shadow Ball, and then I have Power Herb, Solar Blade, and Shadow Sneak. Now, you can see down the team, I'm also bringing Rain. I do know that Rain has the power of Solar Blade, but the goal for this game is going to be to get up Rain early game because I'm expecting this to be a longer game. I'm expecting him to bring bulky Suicune, bulky Crobat, bulky Buzzwole, bulky Silvally, bulky Uxie, bulky Piloswine, and then like trying to chip me down for DD Dragapult to sweep me. That's kind of what I'm expecting. So either way, Flash Cannon, Shadow Ball, Solar Blade, and Shadow Sneak. So the goal is to get Rain up early game, break the team down a little bit with what you're seeing right now on the screen with Kingdra. And then mid-game, I want to bring this in, force him to bring in Suicune on me, and then bop it with the Solar Blade. There is no Suicune in the entire world that I could come up with. I ran it against max HP, max defense, max special defense with a calm nature that is able to take Stealth Rocks, Shadow Ball, Solar Blade, and Shadow Sneak all together. There is no combination of anything. So if I get it even just a little bit chipped, there's no combination that can take Stealth Rock a couple times, Shadow Ball, and Solar Blade together. So that is what I went for with this investment, and then the rest I just threw into HP. That's kind of how I went with it, and I think it worked out pretty well. I really like it. Next up, we have Choice Banded Kingdra. Choice Banded Kingdra is going to be my win con this week, I think. I went with a pretty standard build at first with like just Life Orb, Special Kingdra, but then I realized that if Suicune gets a couple Calm Minds up, I don't have a way of breaking it otherwise. But Choice Banded Outrage does, and that's really, really nice. And this is how I'm going to try to pivot around and break the team. I'm going to try to flip turn around. I'm going to try to bring in the Suicune, flip turn on it, drop in Zapdos, and do a lot of damage. So that's kind of what I went for. I want to give a big shout out to Team Knots for this set. He's the one that said that I should try this out this week because it does look really, really good, and I agree. I have enough speed for Choice Scarf Cinderace, I think. Yeah, that sounds about right, because I can't outspeed, it's a speed tie with Choice Scarf Crobat. I can't outspeed Choice Scarf Dragapult anyway, so I'm not even going to try to, like, check the speed creeps. I'm just going to outspeed what I can outspeed. Next up, we have Zapdos. Offensive Zapdos, this game just shreds. Like I said before, Spadef Piloswine is the only thing that can take multiple Hurricanes. It's the only thing that can take multiple Thunderbolts. It's the only thing that can take, like, 2 Weather Balls if rocks are not up. If rocks are up, it does die, if it's fully Spadef. Especially if they let Uxie get weakened. Uxie can take a couple hits, but I'm also running Thunderbolt because with 24 PP compared to Thunder, which only has 16 PP, if they are a Suicune that is unbelievably annoying with Sub Protect and they try to PP stall out my Thunders, I don't want to risk that. I want to have something that is a little bit more reliable to last a long game if needed. Especially because Thunderbolt does still 2-shot Suicune pretty much no matter what. So that was the goal there. Roost for longevity. Love this Pokemon a lot. Next up, Politoed, Skull Toxic, Perish Song, and Haze. This is kind of just a check all be all. This is my Piloswine switch in. This is my Suicune potential switch in with Haze. This is my Buzzwole switch in, my Crobat switch in. This is it just switches into pretty much a lot depending on what they have and depending on what's still alive. Haze and Perish Song are 2 very important moves. So Haze is very important for DD Dragapult because I think Dragapult's going to think that they can actually set up on me. If they bring it in on me, they're going to think they can set up. I'm never going to allow it. I'm going to click Haze immediately. I'd rather just let my Politoed go down and try to win with other measures than risk a DD Dragapult getting 2 Dragon Dances up in my face or being like Weakness Policy with Ice Beam and then just shredding my entire team. I don't want to risk that. So I did end up going with Haze to prevent that, but it also hazes away Calm Minds from Suicune, and then Perish Song is in case something sets up just a little too much, like Uxie. If it gets up a Calm Mind and it's fully Fizz Def and I can't break it anyway, and it's just draining kissing me to death, I'm going to click Perish Song and I'm going to force it out. That's kind of the way that I was thinking about it, but everything else just seems pretty standard. Fizz Def Sylveon, very standard. Very useful this game. Pretty much is my only switch into everything. Dragapult switch in. I'm never 2-shot by Choice Spec Shadow Ball if it's modest after a Protect. DD Dragapult, Adamant Life Orb DD Dragapults. Steel Wing does 88%, or no, it does 90% to me max, so I can live one pretty much guaranteed to get off a big Hyper Voice. At that point, I don't care if it's Weakness Policy because I can clean it up with Shadow Sneak. And then I live multiple hits from Cinderace in the rain, unless it's Gunk Shot. I live 2 I live 2 non-boosted Sludge Bombs, I believe, from Zoroark. And then there's something else that I lived. I think I lived 2 Adamant Life Orb Leech Lives from Buzzwole. So I needed max defense for all of this because a lot of their team is very physically offensive, in case you couldn't tell. But I also do take the special hits pretty well, so that's really, really nice. And then next up is kind of the not the glue to the team, but kind of the mon that made it all worth it. Stealth Rock's U-Turn, Energy Ball, and Psychic. This thing hits their team very, very hard, which is kind of funny whenever you think about it, but the only thing they have to resist the stab of Grass is weak to Psychic. Except for Dragapult. The Dragapult doesn't want to take a Psychic, and I can U-turn out on it, drop in my Sylveon. If they're at +1, they're at +1, whatever. And then I can hit it, and then I can live the Steel Wing pretty easily. So that's kind of where my mindset was there. But I have enough special attack investment to guarantee kill the things that need to be killed, that being Crobat, Suicune. I 2-shot that, depending on investment, of course, if it's just like max HP. Piloswine, if it is defensive, I 2-shot that, and then I think Cinderace as well, I can 2-shot after Stealth Rock if it's not Boots with Psychic, so it can switch in on Psychic, which is really good. And Buzzwole, I also kill with Psychic. So that is going to be the team that I'm bringing this week. Very, very happy with this team. I really like this Aegislash set. I hope I can get Solar Blade to work. But everything else just is really, really solid. I didn't have any mocks, but, you know, I'm just proud of the team. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and hop right over to the battle. Yo, okay. So real quick, I don't know if I'm going to talk about it in the team builder, so I'm going to talk about it now. I haven't done the team builder yet, but so there was no ICP last week, and this is round 1 of playoffs for ICP, and I want to explain why there was no ICP playoffs. Because me playing that game, I basically could have just made it to where I didn't play, like I could have played somebody I didn't want to in playoffs. So the original goal was to play Ogle, in Ogle, Owen, whatever you want to, however you want to address him. I was going to try to play him in round 1 of playoffs because I really liked my matchup and I would like revenge for NCP. But it was impossible for me to play him. It was physically impossible for me to get into the position for me to play him. I just couldn't do it, so I just forfeited. Because if I took the 3-0 loss, I would be playing my opponent. This time it was Seth, who it's not that I liked my matchup, it's that I would rather play somebody I didn't play in the regular season rather than a rematch from earlier in the season. It just, I feel like it gives me a little bit better chance of making it to next round of playoffs. So yeah, that's kind of where last week's ICP was. So if that upsets you, I apologize, but I couldn't get my preferred outcome. Therefore, I needed to try to make it to where it was best case scenario for me. So this week we're playing Seth. It is round 1 of playoffs. I don't know who he would be playing if actually I do know who I would be playing if I win. If I lose, I'm out, and you know, I'm fine with it if I am out, because on the time of you guys seeing this, I will be getting married tomorrow. So it's a big deal, and if I lose and I'm out, then I have to wait approximately 10 days before I can play my next game. So don't expect any ICP. Alrighty, sending now. So don't expect any ICP for about 10 days or so, maybe 2 weeks, because I will be getting married, and then I will be going on my honeymoon pretty much immediately after. I have 1 day of rest. But yeah, so Seth's links will be down in the description below. Love Seth to death. Oh, well, that's awkward. But yeah, so don't expect anything for ICP for at least 2 weeks, but I'm hoping that I do win. I built a pretty fun team. If you watch the team builder, brought some interesting stuff that I'm hoping will catch him off guard, but he actually said he wasn't ready to receive. So but yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pause until we get connected with him, and I'll be right back. Alrighty guys, so we're connected. I do have a question of the day for you guys. Is there anything that you guys have sitting on your desk whenever you're gaming, or whenever you're like in between games or whatever, that you have that you just fiddle with? I have 2 things. So I have a Rubik's Cube, which I can solve in about a minute, give or take. And I use that all the time whenever I'm like right before a game. It really helps me concentrate on pretty much everything else. I don't see a Buzzwole, which is great. What else don't I see? What else don't I see? And then I also have a weighted pen, because I do a lot of like finger twirling with pens and stuff like that. So what else don't I see? Cinderace, which doesn't really surprise me. Piloswine, which doesn't really surprise me all that much, but I see bottom 4. I don't see Diglett, which is nice. Dragapult, Crobat. Okay, so Rain looks really, really good if I can get the Suicune a little bit weakened. I'm going to lead off with my Aegislash, I think. Yeah, I'm going to lead off with my Aegislash. I'm going to kind of sort of scout and see what his setup for it is. He only brought 1 rocker, which is the Uxie. So if I'm able to get that thing pressured early on, it'd be really nice. So let's see, Aegislash Blade versus Uxie. I do 70% with Shadow Ball. Do I take a Zoroark knockoff? No. I think it's a roll. But I did get the lead right with Yuxi, which is great. I assume that he thought I was going to lead off with Celebi to try to get up my rocks. I'm just going to fire off a free Shadow Ball. I don't really lose much from it. Versus... what is that Pokemon called? Yuxi. If this is Zoroark, then great play, but I really don't want to risk it. Like, especially this early on in the game, if it is Zoroark, it's just going to be too hard for me to play around. Yawn. That's fine. I get a big hit off on this thing. 70 to 83 of Fizz Def. Get a little bit less, so I think it's mixed. Citrus? No, it's lefties. Okay. I'm going to switch out into my Celebi, I think. Yeah, I'm going to switch into my Celebi. I'm going to get at my rocks. I'm going to... ooh, what are they switching into? All Girl? Silvally normal. Okay. This is good for me. Let me just make sure it is Silvally normal. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna get on my rocks here, because I really do need them on the field in order to chip down pretty much everything that's not Crobat, because it's going to be Boots. If he goes for a U-turn, no big deal. I have the Tanga Berry for this exact scenario. Let's see. Multi-attack does less than 50%. U-turn is how much? I'm faster, which is good to know. U-turn is doing 38%. Goes for Snarl. Okay. I'm okay with that. I'm gonna click U-turn here. Good damage. About 15%. So he's offensive. I'm gonna go to my Politoed. He has no bulk whatsoever. U-turn should be doing 14 to 17 to no HP, no defense. Silvally. So he could be Assault Vest, which is something to note. But aside from that, I'm not overly worried about much of anything. If they go into Suicune, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to Toxic it, I think. Because I think Suicune is probably their best answer to my Politoed. Oh no, they go right into this. Okay. Politoed versus Yuxi. So Scald isn't going to kill. But I do want the Scald damage, because if this thing is dead, then I'm very happy. If I can get a burn or a crit, I could kill, maybe. But I'm definitely not killing with the Scald outright. Oof, that thing is fat, but I do get the burn, which is really, really nice. This thing is Spadef, which is good to know. What do I want to do? I'm going to Scald again. Goes for Yawn. That's kind of what I was expecting, which is why I went for Scald. I kind of wanted to go into my Kingdra and just flip turn, but then that would reveal that I'm banded, I think, and I don't really want that. So, yeah. And I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back into my Celebi, I think. Yeah, I'm going to go back into my Celebi. Because if they Yawn, I can U-turn out. If they go into Silvally, I can U-turn out. If they go into pretty much anything, I'll be fine. I will have my Politoed awake. Yeah. Taking rocks damage is a little bit annoying, but they go for U-turn. They're going to pop my Tango, which kind of sucks, but you know, it is what it is. They're going to die on rocks entry unless they defog. which then they're getting rid of their rocks as well, which I'm okay with. So let's see what they go into. I'm expecting Dragapult. They go hard into Zoroark. Wow. Okay. How do I want to do this? Celebi has kind of like done its usefulness, so I'm gonna click U-turn in case they click U-turn. They have a Sludge Bomb. I should live this. Nope, I didn't. Does that tell me anything? He is boosting item. Or you got a really good roll. Either way, I'm going to go into my Zapdos, I think, and just fire off a Hurricane. Because Hurricane does 100% minimum to no HP Zoroark. Hurricane looks absolutely free. They can go for knockoff. I could have gone into my Aegislash to scout and see if it was defensive or not. They're gonna send out okay, this is really good. I get to figure out what this thing is. It's dead is what it is. No, it's lefties. So in the rain, Hurricane still does more. I'm gonna go for it. So I need this thing weakened for pretty much everything. My Kingdra's looking really, really good now. Because I know that this isn't Silvally Fairy, so I can spam Outrage. You die, you do not die, you live on 12, but you miss the Toxic. Hog. I think you're just out of range of rocks. I think I'm gonna go for Thunderbolt here. Don't really lose much from it. No, Hurricane is just so free. Hurricane is so free in the rain. So man, he has some, I think he has some Spadef investment. But I don't know how much. So Silvally's dead, Uxie's dead, Zoroark is at 75%, and the rain is gone. So now the next time I bring in my Aegislash versus pretty much anything, I'm in a good spot. If they go into Dragapult here, that'd be scary. Because if they set up a DD, choice. Okay. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. I'm going to Thunderbolt this thing because I need this thing weakened as well. I'm going to Thunderbolt it. Go withdraw. It's fine. Easy NyQuil. Okay. My Sylveon lives a +1 Steel Wing guaranteed from Adamant Life Orbed. It does 90% max. But after lefties, I will. And Hyper Voice says 103 to 121. Suicune. Don't know why. Versus Suicune. The Thunderbolt's doing 64 to 76, depending on their investment. And the second this is gone, I can spam with their Wakanberry. Are they Miracoat? If they're Miracoat and I figure this out now, that's great. Because now I'm going to spam Outrage. I get the para. Do I get the full para? Nope, but they are Miracoat. Don't die. Perfect. I'm going to go for another Thunderbolt. This should kill. Perfect. Water resist gone. Liquidation wins. Outrage also wins for that matter, but if I was Thunder, I would have died. But they're gonna go into Crobat now, and here's where I'm a little bit torn. I want to save this thing as death fodder for something. I'm gonna go into my Aegislash because I don't really give a shit if Rain is up anymore. This is also Zoroark, which I just realized because it took rocks. I shouldn't have done this. This was a bad play. This was a very bad play. This is Zoroark. Right? Sludge Bomb. Perfect. Now, do I live a hit from Zoroark if it's Night Days? No. If it's Dark Pulse, but it's Black Glasses. Does 99% maximum 142. Dark Pulse does not kill me from Timid Black Glasses. And Flash Cannon kills. So I think I'm gonna go for Flash Cannon. Right? Or is that a bad play? I'm gonna go for Flash Cannon. Black Glasses, Dark Pulse never kills me, but they switch out. What do they go into? Crobat themselves. Okay. Cool. I think this is where I go into my Politoed and I start to spam Outrage. If I get a 3-turn Outrage, I win. Because I kill everything. The only thing I don't kill is Choice Scarf Dragapult, but Choice Scarf Dragapult is extremely easy for me to revenge kill with my Sylveon. And then at that point, Sylveon also just wins. Goes for Hurricane. Cool. I'm going to just go for Scald. Go for Hurricane. That's fine. Kills. A little bit less than ideal. They go into Dragapult. I'm gonna click Haze first. Yeah. That's what I'm gonna do with Dragapult with this. I'm gonna click Haze, prevent it from ever DDing up on me. Or do I click Perish Song? I'm gonna click Haze. I'm gonna force him to kill me. Yep. No, I'm not allowing this. No. Nope, not allowing this. But now that I've done it once, I'm expecting him to click Dragon Darts, and now I will allow it. I'm going to play a little bit more aggressive here because I think I have the pieces to have the ability to play a little bit more aggressive. Because if he clicks DD here and he's like Adamant Steel Wing, I'm fine. He goes for Dragon Dance again. So Dragapult, let's just double check. Dragon Dance, level 50. Adamant Life Orb, Steel Wing at +1. Does 90% max. I'm out of range of that. I go for Hyper Voice and I claim one. Yep, I live this. Just barely, but I do in fact live it. He even got the crit. That's insane. That is wild. That crit kind of sucks. If I'm just being honest. That crit really sucks. But I think my Kingdra can still pull this out. I think my Kingdra can still pull this out depending on what they lock themselves into. If they lock themselves into Sludge Bomb, I'm going to scout and see what their item is. I'm going to protect first anyway. Stall at a turn of rain allows me to reset rain a little bit easier. They go for Dark Pulse. Rourke. I feel like your choice specs. I'm at 44. The only way he kills me is if he's modest choice specs with Dark Pulse, so I'm just going to click Hyper Voice and see what happens. Goes for Dark Pulse. Can Sylveon live this? Sure freaking can. Sylveon... That was the game right there. That was the game right there. And the rain stopped, so now if he kills me, I go into Politoed, I sack that off, and I win with Kingdra. Oh, that's annoying. Because now I'm at 28. And I guaranteed die, so that's nice. I'll go for the double protect. Why not? It fails. Cool. Of course it does. That sucks. Sylveon could have won the game right there. Especially if it didn't get crit. If it didn't get crit, it really won the game right there. I'm going to go into my Politoed. Kingdra still should be fine to win this. Kingdra versus Auroric. Liquidation in the rain. Yeah. Oh man, that's annoying. I really wish Sylveon could have picked up the kill right there because Sylveon has been such a joy to use again. It has been so much fun to use. But, you know, it's whatever. Now I drop in Kingdra. And I guess it is fitting that Kingdra gets the last kill of the game. Considering that Kingdra has been like my favorite Pokemon of all time. But either way, so we kill with Liquidation. We're choice banded. This is great. Perfect. Absolutely amazing. GG's to Seth. We move on to semifinals, I believe. Right? Move on to semifinals. Seth's links will be down in the description below. Go show him some love. He is one of the commissioners of the ICP. He's the one that reached out to me and offered me the spot to join. So absolutely love Seth to death. He is part of Prep City. But that was a phenomenal game. I had an absolute blast with it. I wish I didn't get flinched there and Sylveon could have clutched it out, but it really didn't matter. It's just more so for my personal wishes. I wish that could have happened. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and get it out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.